All right then, so we last left off with you all deep within a vast illuminated cave. Surrounding you were an imposing array of devils and members of the Obetus, each of varying ranks and status, their eyes fixed upon your every move. At the forefront stood Vuel himself, a commanding figure you all know far too well. Nearby, an unknown man lay in one of the rock tombs, while in the other, to your horror and relief, lay Celestia, her snow-white hair and pale skin unmistakable. What would you like to do?
I'm going to do what we came here to do. I want to get out the scroll of resurrection and approach Celestia.
Tronald, you take a deep breath and reach into your pack, your fingers closing around the scroll of resurrection. The ancient parchment crackles slightly as you retrieve it, its power thrumming faintly beneath your touch. However, the moment the scroll is revealed, a ripple of unseen energy seems to course through the cavern. The 50 hooded members of the Obetus, who had been staring at the floor in silent vigilance, suddenly raise their heads in unison. Their eyes, previously hidden beneath their hoods, are now all fixed directly on you.
Well, that's not fucking weird at all.
What's Vuel doing as the rest of them react to the scroll?
Raarh. As the rest of the members of the Obetus react to the scroll, you glance towards Vuel. He stands there utterly composed, an unsettling sick smile curling his lips. His eyes gleam with a mix of amusement and anticipation, as if he has been waiting for this moment for a long time. Without a word, he raises a hand towards you, Tronald, gesturing for you to approach.
Well, I'm not remotely intimidated by this charade, so I'm going to do just that, making sure not to break eye contact with Vuel as I do. I won't give him that satisfaction.
Just make sure you don't trip up.
Huh? What the hell are you talking about, Mite? Why would I trip up?
Well, if you don't look where you're going because you're staring at Vuel, then you could just trip up, and then everyone's going to laugh at you. Not us. Obviously, we won't laugh at you. We're your friends, but them lot might. Imagine, you try to be all serious and intense, then bam! You hit the ground. It just seems like a risky maneuver, you know. Might want to watch your step.
Well, thanks for the advice, Mite. I'll be sure to watch my step and avoid any unexpected faceplants. But I think I've got the basic task of walking down pretty well. You know, put one foot in front of the other and all that. But it's good to know you're looking out for me.
I mean, going off what Mite just said, I feel like I'm going to need you to make a dexterity check for me now, Tronald.
Are you serious? A dexterity check just for walking?
Well, you're not just walking, are you? You're walking whilst not looking where you're going. Like Mite said, it's a risky maneuver whilst in unfamiliar terrain.
In the future, can you just keep your mouth shut, Mite?
I mean, I can try, but I've never been very good at that.
Do you want me to smother him, Tronald?
Not yet. We will let him off this time, but if he does anything like that again, then yeah. Smother away, Raarh.
Joke's on you. I'm into that shit.
Ew. For fuck's sake. I'm going to use one of my luckies, Joe. Still not great, but I'm not going to use a portent because of Mite's big-ass mouth.
What did you roll?
A 12 total.
Tronald, as you start your determined stride toward the tomb, you lock eyes with Vuel, refusing to give him the satisfaction of seeing you look away. With each step, you feel the intensity of his gaze, and the sinister smile on his face only spurs you on. However, the uneven ground beneath your feet has other plans.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
As you walk, your boot catches on a small rock and you stumble forward, arms flailing for a moment. You manage to maintain your balance by sheer willpower, your eyes never leaving Vuel's. You right yourself with an awkward hop, your heart pounding from the sudden misstep.
I meant to do that.
The members of the Obetus remain eerily silent, their heads still raised, watching your every move.
All right, well, now that I'm there, I'm going to unfurl the scroll fully and begin casting it on Celestia.
Tronald, positioning yourself beside Celestia's tomb, you begin to unfurl the scroll of resurrection, the ancient parchment crackling softly as you start to spread it open. Just as the scroll is fully unfurled, you feel a firm hand grasp yours, halting your movements. Startled, you look up and see Vuel standing beside you, his red eyes gleaming with a mix of amusement and warning. He shakes his head slowly, a small, sinister smile playing on his lips. The cave falls into an even deeper silence, the weight of Vuel's presence pressing down on you. The members of the Obetus remain motionless, their gazes fixed on this tense moment.
What? Why are you stopping me? You told me to come here so I could revive her, and that's what I intend to do, so get the hell off me.
Vuel's grip tightens slightly, his smile widening as he takes a step closer. His voice is smooth, dripping with amusement as he begins to speak, the cavernous space amplifying his every word.
Ah, Tronald. always so eager to rush ahead without considering the full picture. Allow me to enlighten you. The man you see lying in the tomb to your right is none other than Kaz the Bloody-Handed, a formidable warrior, a legend in his own right. You're familiar with him, aren't you? Tales of his ruthlessness, his unparalleled skill in battle, his unyielding loyalty to his cause? Well, once resurrected, his first task will be to venture to White Willow. He will not go alone, of course. An army of the Obitus will march alongside him. Their mission? To occupy the city, to bring it under our control. Any who dare to resist will be shown no mercy, but slaughtered where they stand. Blood will run through the streets.
What's that got to do with Celestia? And why are you telling me all of that? I came here to bring her back, not to get caught up in your twisted plans.
I've told you before, Tronald. You're entwined with my twisted plans as much as a spider is with its web. I told you. I asked you to come here for a test, and this is it. I give you my word. I will not breathe life into Kaz under one condition: that you revoke any opportunity to bring Celestia back to the realm of the living. That you allow her soul to descend into a realm where she will become unreachable, lost to you forever. You see, Tronald, this test is more than a simple choice. It's a measure of your will, your values, and your very soul. What are you willing to sacrifice? How deep does your love run, and what price are you prepared to pay? Consider the implications. One life for thousands. The woman you care about deeply, weighed against the fate of countless innocent strangers. Her presence among the living, or the blood of White Willow's citizens running through the streets. What will you choose? The life of one individual you hold dear, or the lives of thousands who may never know your name, but will certainly feel the impact of your decision?
Tronald, how about we talk about this before you make a decision?
You think you can break me with your twisted games, Visuriel? Think again. I've made the wrong decisions in the past, putting the lives of others before my family, and it got them killed, every single one of them. I have lived with that guilt, that pain, every day since. So, no, this time I couldn't care less about the masses. All I care about is sticking true to my promise and bringing Celestia back. You can threaten me with your armies, your pit fiends, and your bloodshed, but it won't change my mind. Celestia is coming back. You said this was a test? Well, here's my answer. I choose her. I choose Celestia over all of White Willow, over any city, over any number of strangers.
For fuck's sake, Tronald.
As your defiant words hang in the air, Visuriel's smile widens, a flicker of something dark and almost fond glinting in his eyes. He tilts his head slightly as if weighing your response, his amusement tinged with a deep, hidden emotion.
That's interesting. I wasn't sure what you would choose. I had my suspicions, of course, but it's illuminating to hear it from your own lips. The bonds we form, the promises we make, they shape us more than we realize.
His gaze lingers on you for a moment longer, something unspoken passing between you, a connection that feels both familiar and haunting. Then, with a graceful turn, he shifts his attention to the ghostly pale man with void-like eyes, his right-hand man who stands nearby.
Well, Malachar, you heard Tronald. Begin the ritual.
Malachar steps forward, his lips curling into a serpentine smile as he regards both you, Tronald, and Visuriel with a mixture of curiosity and cold amusement.
I see why you're so fond of him, Visuriel. He is quite intriguing. Such resolve, such fire. It's a pity he won't join us willingly. His potential is immense, and his spirit. Oh, what a valuable asset he could have been to our plans.
Screw your plans. I don't care about your schemes, your power, or your twisted ambitions. You think you can control me, bend me to your will? Not a chance. So, if that's the end goal, to try use me, you might as well just kill me now, because it isn't happening.
Alas, some are destined to stand in opposition, even when their hearts beat in tune with the shadows. It's almost poetic, don't you think?
Visurial chuckles slightly, a cold, knowing sound as he rolls his hand in a gesture for Malachar to proceed.
Oh, Malachar, do not fret. No matter what he chooses, no matter where he goes, no matter what he does, he is inexorably linked to our designs. His essence, his very soul, is interwoven with the fate we weave. Even in defiance, he serves our purpose. His choices, his struggles, they all lead him back to us, like a moth to a flame. He cannot escape what he is, nor what he is meant to become. His resistance will only fuel the fire. He is, and always will be, part of our grand design.
Tronald, I really don't think we should be jumping headfirst into this decision without talking about it all first.
Saxi, there's nothing to talk about. We came here to bring Celestia back, and that's exactly what I'm going to do.
Tronald, listen to me. This isn't just about Celestia. You heard what Visurial said. If we bring her back, Cass and his army will devastate White Willow. Thousands could die. If we don't bring her back, we can hold off this massacre and figure something out.
I understand the stakes, Saxi, but I won't let Visurial control me with his threats. I made a promise to Celestia, and I intend to keep it.
Tronald's right. We've faced shit odds before. We can handle whatever comes next. No point letting fear stop us from what we've been aiming to do for God knows how long.
It's not about fear, it's about responsibility. We have the power to prevent a massacre. Ignoring that makes us no fucking better than anyone we have ever fought against.
They're not my responsibility, Saxi. My responsibility is to the people I care about, to those I promised to protect. I've given enough to the world, and what did it get me? Loss after loss. I won't sacrifice another person I love for the sake of strangers.
You're really willing to turn your back on innocent lives? On thousands of people who need us?
Those people have their own defenders, their own heroes. My fight is here. I won't let her fade into nothingness, not when I can save her.
Tronald, we get it. We understand your pain and your loss, but this isn't just about one person. We need to think about the bigger picture. Maybe there's a way to save Celestia and stop the massacre.
And how exactly do you propose we do that, Might? Visurial's not giving us a wide variety of choice. It's her or them.
I don't know yet, but rushing into this might just play into his hands. We need to outsmart him, find a loophole, something he hasn't accounted for. Let's think this through.
A chilling chuckle echoes through the cavern, drawing your attention back to Visuriel.
I can hear you, you know? Your desperate whispers, your futile hopes for a loophole. Do you truly believe you can outsmart me, that there is a path I haven't foreseen? The choice before you remains unchanged. One life for thousands, no tricks, no escape. Only the harsh reality of the consequences of your actions.
I've already agreed to it, Visurial. No more discussions, no more persuasion. This is my decision, and it's final. I'm not letting you, Saxi, you, Might, or anyone else sway me. Joe, I begin casting the scroll on Celestia.
Tronald, you unfurl the scroll of resurrection, the ancient parchment crackling with latent power. The runes and symbols glow brighter as you begin to chant the incantation, the words resonating with a deep arcane energy. The scroll pulses in your hands, the air around you shimmering with magic. As you focus on Celestia's still form, tendrils of light begin to extend from the scroll, weaving through the air like ethereal threads. These wisps of energy, delicate yet potent, reach towards her, puncturing her body with a gentle, almost tender force. The light sinks into her skin, sewing its threads into her very essence. The cave is filled with a hauntingly beautiful glow, the magic swirling and dancing around Celestia. Her body reacts to the energy, small spasms coursing through her as the resurrection takes hold. The tendrils of light penetrate deeper, weaving through muscle and bone, mending the rifts between life and death with a brutal grace. You watch, breathless, as the scroll's power pours into Celestia, her form gradually absorbing the radiant energy. The process is intense, each moment a blend of beauty and brutality as the magic stitches her soul back into her body. The air hums with the force of the spell, the boundaries between the living and the dead blurring in a stunning display of arcane might. The glow intensifies, the tendrils of light wrapping around Celestia like a cocoon, until finally, with a final surge of power, the scroll's magic is fully expended. The cave falls silent, the last remnants of light fading into her form, leaving you in a stillness charged with anticipation.
Did it work?
Miley, if you would like to make your way back to the table.
Where the hell am I? What happened?
Yay, Celestia, welcome back!
You got killed. It took us a while, but just like I said, we came back for you.
All right, guys. As the gentle light of the scroll of resurrection fades around the now revived Celestia, the atmosphere in the cavern shifts dramatically. Malachar, Vizuriel's right hand, steps forward to the tomb of Kas. His movements are fluid and almost serpentine, a sinister elegance to his motions. His face is a nightmarish visage with skin stretched tightly over his skull, almost translucent and ghostly white. His eyes are black voids, endless and consuming, void of any humanity. Malachar's lips curl into a twisted smile, and his hands begin to weave intricate patterns in the air. His fingers move with unnerving precision, summoning dark, arcane energy. Wisps of red and purple energy begin to coalesce around him, swirling and crackling with power. The very air seems to thrum with dread as the energy gathers, a horrific contrast to the gentle light that had revived Celestia. With a final dramatic gesture, Malachar thrusts his hands toward the tomb of Kas. The red and purple wisps shoot forward, penetrating the stone, almost shattering it and seeping into the lifeless body within. The energy writhes and pulses, a grotesque display of resurrection as it forcibly knits flesh and bone. Kas's body convulses violently, his muscles twitching and spasming under the onslaught of dark magic. The sight is brutal and unnerving, every movement filled with an almost unbearable intensity. The red and purple tendrils of energy dig into his form, dragging him back from the void. Finally, with a spine-chilling scream, Kas's eyes snap open, black and void-like, mirroring Malachar's. His hand slams down onto the side of the coffin with a resounding thud, the sound echoing through the cavern. Then, he pulls himself up. Kas steps out of the coffin, his presence commanding and terrifying. His skin is pale, almost corpse-like, stretched tightly over his powerful frame. He moves like a predator, each step deliberate and filled with menace. Slowly, he reaches for the helmet shaped like a snarling hound, lifting it with a reverence that contrasts starkly with his gruesome resurrection. His gaze pierces through each member of the assembly before finally resting on Malachar, with a voice as cold and harsh as a winter storm.
Who dares bring Kas the Bloody-Handed back from the void? And for what purpose?
Malachar steps forward, his expression composed, his voice smooth as he responds.
It is I who have summoned you, and your resurrection serves a purpose greater than you can yet comprehend. You are to lead these 50 to White Willow. Your task is to claim the city, to slaughter any who resist, and establish our dominion over it.
As the 50 cloaked figures begin to amass around him, forming a tight circle in the center of the chamber ready for deployment, Kas's eyes narrow, suspicion flickering across his harsh features. Suddenly, he lashes out, his movements quick and brutal. He grabs one of the figures by the throat, lifting him off the ground and snapping his neck with a sickening crack. The body drops lifelessly as Kas bellows,
Who are you to command me? I bow to no one.
Well, that's a shame. Now you only have 49 members. We'll need to find you a replacement. If you're done with your tantrums, Kas, I suggest you get to work. Time is fleeting, and White Willow won't conquer itself.
You dare give me orders? I am no puppet to be wielded at your whim.
Kas's face twists in rage as he lunges towards Vizuriel. But before Kas can reach him, Malachar extends his hand, palm facing. A horrific scream tears from Kas's throat as he is suddenly frozen in place, his body convulsing as if struck by thousands of bolts of lightning. His muscles twitch violently, his screams filling the cavern, a sound of pure agony and rage. Malachar's voice remains calm, almost soothing against the backdrop of Kas's screams.
Kas, I would advise you to watch your tone when addressing your master. You are fortunate it was I who stopped you, not him. His methods of correction are far less forgiving. You would be dead again, and we'd simply have to resurrect you again.
His smile is thin and predatory as he watches Kas struggle.
It's a tiresome process, really, and not one we are eager to repeat. Consider this a lesson in hierarchy and restraint. Your strength may be formidable, but here, you're bound to his will, as we all are.
With a menacing resolve etched deep into his visage, Kas gathers his towering form and marches from the cavern's shadowed embrace. His steps, heavy and unyielding, carry the promise of blood yet to be spilled. Behind him, the assembly of Obetus, cloaked in darkness, forms a silent cortege, their presence as foreboding as a storm cloud on the horizon. The cavern, lit by flickering torchlight, casts chaotic shadows behind the 49 figures, each step synchronized. The air stirs with the rustle of their robes, a quiet, relentless noise like leaves before the storm. Behind, the 4 pit fiends fall into rank, colossal engines of war crafted from muscle and malice. Their wings, vast leathern canopies scorched by infernal fires, unfold with the sound of thunderclaps, their chains dragging with the dirge of forged iron against stone. Their march is not merely a movement, but a declaration of war.
Are you happy now, Vizuriel? Are you happy that I've played your little game and you get to send thousands to be slaughtered because of a choice I made?
How dare you speak to him like that? Learn your place. You do not.
Oh, it's quite all right, Malakar. Let him speak. His attitude adds a certain flavor to the air. But no, Tronald. Tonight is but a whisper of the pain I intend to conduct. My happiness will not be gleaned from the mere thousands who will fall this eve. It will come when millions lay dying, when the foundations of all 5 nations crumble into ruin, when the celestial gates are shattered, and even the gods cry out in agony. Everyone, from deity to mortal, that I deem unworthy will perish, swept away by the tide of their own mediocrity. But we have traversed the depths of this discussion previously. So this may well be our final encounter, unless, of course, you find yourself embarking on a quest to thwart my will. And if I'm being honest, I encourage it, for such an endeavor would reveal much to you, perhaps more about your own nature and the true fabric of this world than you ever wished to know. Should I not see you before the beginning, I look forward to our next meeting at the dawn of the new world. Until then, I encourage you to consider your path carefully. It would be a pity for you to learn the broader truth, only to find it inscribed on your tombstone.
As the last echoes of Vizuriel's chilling declaration linger in the cavern, he turns to address the rest of the Obetus. The silence intensifies as each member stands in anticipation of their Dark Lord's command. Vizuriel raises his hand slowly, a movement that underscores his absolute authority. His finger points decisively at one of the figures cloaked deeply in shadow. The figure steps forward, pulling back the hood to reveal a woman with fiery red hair framing a striking face. Her eyes, vibrant as verdant meadows, sweep over those gathered with an unwavering gaze.
Mordrin, you are the most recent to join our ranks, yet you bear a burden heavy with expectation. You must remain here, hidden within the shadows, and ensure that Cass remains compliant. Consider him a wayward hound that might need to be reminded of his obedience. Should he stray, do not hesitate to scold him harshly. If you deem it necessary, feel free to either gather more troops or dip into the clone reserves. I trust your judgment. As for the rest of us, our journey carries us forth to seek his former master.
O my lord, my divine obsession, in your shadow we are reborn. Beneath your gaze we find our purpose. Tell me, my king, my god, when shall we converge again? When will you call us forth from the night to stand once more in the glory of your majesty?
Mordrin, this will be our final gathering before the endgame commences. Make no mistake, we will reshape this world. When our paths cross again, it will be under the dawn of a new era. Until then, ensure that you do not falter.
With that, Vizuriel turns away, his cloak billowing behind him like the dark wings of fate, followed by the rest of the Obetus, including Mordrin, who disappears into the night.
What the fuck have you guys been up to since I've been dead?
Oh, you know, little bit of this, little bit of that. Met a bald dude, met a cat man.
Hi, I'm the cat man.
Yeah, I can see that.
I must say, your hair really is quite tremendous. Dare I ask to inhale upon it?
Did you just ask if you could sniff my hair?
Yeah.
What the fuck, mate? That's like almost the weirdest thing you've ever said. Why would you use that as your introduction line?
Hey, at least I wanted to bring her back, unlike you, Saxy.
What do you mean by that?
Well, this guy over here wanted to leave you dead. said it would be for the greater good.
Oh, that's bullshit. You know I didn't mean it like that.
Then how did you mean it?
Look, it's not like I said, let's just forget her and move on. What I meant was, given the situation, with thousands, tens of thousands of lives on the line, we could have paused, thought it through a bit more carefully. I never meant to leave you dead forever, Celestia. It was about timing, about considering all the potential consequences. It's just, we made a snap decision, and now, because of that, there are going to be massive repercussions. People are going to die, many of them within the hour. I was just thinking about how we could manage the situation, handle it without causing so much damage. It was never about abandoning you, it was about trying to save more lives along with yours. That's all I was trying to say.
Are you kidding me? I love you all, guys, but that was fucking stupid. You know that, right? You all decided to bring me back, risking a massacre without even considering all the options, without a solid plan. We're supposed to be better than this. We're supposed to think things through, not just jump headlong into whatever feels right at the moment, especially when it puts so many lives at risk. I appreciate being alive, really, I do, but not at the cost of thousands of innocent people. We could have found another way, a smarter way. Now we're in this mess and we have to fix it, fast.
Are you annoyed at us?
A little bit, yeah.
Well, let's just head to White Willow right now and see what's going on.
We might be able to get there before them if we take the horses. At least we'll have a chance to warn the people there. Every second counts. And if we move fast, we might be able to make a difference.
To the horses, then.
As you exit the cavern, a noticeable absence hangs in the air. The imps that once clung to the rocks overhead are nowhere to be seen. You pause, scanning the horizon, and your eyes catch on a disturbing sight. In the distance, what appears to be a moving cloud darkens the sky, but as you squint against the fading light, you realize it's not a cloud at all. It's them. Cass, the cloaked figures of the Obetus, and the 4 giant flaming figures, the pit fiends, advancing with terrifying speed and purpose. Turning toward where you left the horses, a sinking feeling grips you. The scene before you is gruesome. The horses are in pieces, the ground around them painted with the carnage of what looks like a savage feeding frenzy. The remains are so thoroughly torn apart that they resemble the aftermath of a piranha attack. It's clear that using them to get to White Willow is no longer an option. The reality of the situation sets in. Without the horses, reaching White Willow in time to do anything meaningful seems almost insurmountable.
Well, it looks like we better get running.
You can have a little think on it anyway, because that's where we're going to wrap up this session.